All right, this week we're still looking at quadratic equations. We are solving equations by the square root property this week. All right, square root property is going to be abbreviated as SRP pretty much from now on. You'll be seeing a lot of that, so make sure you're aware of that as well. So we got a couple steps. First step, you need to get the x squared or the quantity squared by itself. So you'll have x in parentheses plus or minus some number squared, and we'll need to get that by itself. Second, where I need to square root both sides. All right, once the x squared is by itself, you square root both sides. Now, the left side with the x squared just gets rid of the square. It's just an x. You need to put plus or minus on the right side. We've had two answers all along so far with factoring. We are going to continue to have two answers with these quadratics. Sometimes you need to simplify the radical. All right. There's two head puzzles that you need to watch before you do this, preferably. So hopefully you check that out. Then the last thing, if needed, we got to get x by itself. So let's get into some examples. First thing, as I have here, is we just need to be aware of our perfect squares. All right. So being aware of our perfect squares just makes this process go a little bit faster for you. That's all. All right. Loved. So we just go ahead and make ourselves easy, make it easier if we're aware of that on these problems. So first thing we got to do, get this x squared by itself. In order to do that, we add 10 to both sides. We get x squared equals 25. And once the x squared is by itself, you square root both sides. It's just x equals square root of 25 is 5. But here's the thing. Once again, you got to write plus or minus 5. There's our answer. X equals plus or minus 5. The plus or minus gives us our two answers. So make sure that happens. Second one. Subtract 7 from both sides. Nothing crazy. Get x squared equals 12. We square root both sides. X equals plus or minus. We have a radical that we need to simplify. That radical breaks up into square root of 4, square root of 3. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 3 stays put. X is already by itself, so we're done. All right, those are two quick examples to get us going. Next, a little bit more involved. We are still getting the x squared by itself, no matter how much is with it. So that means we add 19 to both sides. We get 2x squared equals 32. You divide by 2 before you square. Do not square when that 2 is there. So we get x squared equals 16. Now we square root both sides. We get x equals plus or minus 4 since 16 is the perfect square. And there's our solution. Next one, same deal, just more of the same. We add 15 to both sides. Get 3x squared equals what? 54. Divide by 3. Get an x squared equals 18. X squared equals 18. Square root both sides. X equals plus or minus. That should be the first thing you write once x is by itself. X equals plus or minus whatever this radical breaks into. Square root of 9, square root of 2. So it's 3 radical 2. And there's our solution for that one. Now,